Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. MDCAT course, chapter Biological Molecule, the first year textbook में शामिल है और बड़ी के MDCAT मुताबिक question number 4 convert कर दे MDCAT syllabus की अगले discuss carbohydrates, monosaccharides, glucose, oligosaccharides, cane sugar, maltose, lactose, polysaccharides, starch, glycogen, and cellulose. Those are the right answer personally. The road carbohydrates, come biomolecule, other biomolecule, polyhydroxyaldehyde substances in root theory, polyhydroxy ketone substances in root theory, again the way carbohydrates. Carbohydrate की function group थी again the carbonyl group. The carbonyl group check the carbon atom भी और the hydrogen atom भी in case of fructose. Okay, in case of glucose, the carbonyl group check hydrogen atom the carbon atom भी beta way aldehyde functional group. Okay, let's the carbonyl group. You have the carbon atom B, a well of the carbon atom B, beta way ketone functional group. You have a carbohydrate aldehyde functional group, you have a ketone functional group. That is the hydroxyl group of DSCRT. These are the polyhydroxyaldehyde, polyhydroxy ketone substances. But earth bande nature ki most abundant biomolecules they are the carbohydrate. Or carbohydrate composition potassium the carbon the hydrogen the or oxygen atom that we have a carbohydrate classification on the basis of hydrolysis. Number one type they are the monosaccharides. Monosaccharides they are simple sugar way zaka the hydrolysis Nikki or that they are soluble in water. They are sweet in taste. Beyond the monosaccharides further classification on the basis of carbon atoms as also indicate clearly mentioned mentioned discuss triose, tetrose, pentose, hexoses. That types to complete the carbon numbers for base money. In triose with 3 carbon atom like a mesylglyceraldehyde come to allyl sugar or dihydroxyacetone come to ketone sugar that triose example. Gala se pentose avec 5 carbon that example de ribose sugar that is hexose avec 4 carbon that example de glucose, fructose or galactose. Bien, most important to convention should be get cells glucose. The glucose da allyl sugar or da hexose the molecular formula C6H12O6. That is structure the open chain structure that's a go and make the money carbon chicken data function group for the carbon that the way anomeric carbon. The body carbon 2, 3, 4 or 5 chicken D data way asymmetric carbon. Asymmetric carbon other carbon each in a chapera different atoms you have different groups of atoms attached. In your shanty atom you have the group the chapera attached data way asymmetric carbon. Now, but they get 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 like asymmetric carbon or the carbon number 1 that we anomeric carbon. Zakata anomeric carbon. Check it out the open chain of a crystalline form. See that was the most of the book is all no the ring form the converge. Ring form the zero convert. Chicum carbon number 1 day. Chicum the carbon number 1 day. The ration that function group or the carbon number 5 is a bond group. The function group are carbon chicken they have a free sheet, a simple carbon partition, function group the opposite way anomeric carbon. The carbon in the ring structure, which is derived from carbonyl carbon, the anomeric carbon. There glucose की खुसूसियत के देखिए isomerism of a phenomena that different molecules molecular formation for arrangement of atoms bucket differently. Like for example, glucose over C6H12O6 their formula. That's a class of fructose over the around C6H12O6 formula. For glucose ki further beyond isomers type 3 ke yo isomer pagadi stereoisomers. Stereoisomers other isomers the chipa arike ba the asymmetric carbon that you get like H or OH group the arrangement of a three-dimensional space is different. याद साथे चिपा ग्लूकोज के सलोर asymmetric carbon दी और the 4 asymmetric carbon हो जाने ये 16 stereoisomer होगी जगह आगे कोई formula stereoisomer का 2 power n n चिकने ला represent number of carbon atoms पर देखिए 4 asymmetric carbon दी देखिए चिता से 4 को के अभी हम बता सकते हैं 16 stereoisomers बता सकते हैं बिया the isomers चिकन दी पर ग्लूकोज के types like anomeric stereoisomers or enantiomers. أول ما تجيبني anomeric stereoisomers كمني like مثال بتوع alpha glucose or beta glucose ring form كده موجود دي تصور إن carbon number 1 يكون anomeric carbon بعدين بعد ذا H or the OH يكون arrangement are different بسيطة like alpha glucose أبي تقول يجي بعدين carbon number 1 OH group يكون ده downward circle or beta glucose available separately by numeric carbon molecule group check the upward sweep the beta glucose. No alpha or beta glucose that's the way numeric stereoisomers. Via the dina ilawa the glucose stereoisomers double type of exist by other way enantiomers the misal ito for L-glucose or D-glucose. L-glucose or D-glucose, their structure is L-glucose to like levorotatory, left-handed sugars, D-glucose to like dextrorotatory, right-handed sugars. The L-glucose chicken the laboratory manufactured or the D-glucose chicken the naturally occurs in the human body. Doro structure के सबाब के doro का सब open chain हो है न पर पगड़ानी चिपकार number 5 बांध चिकन OH group ने पा L-glucose के अगर left side करेंगे और D-glucose के चिकन OH group ने पकार number 5 न अगर right side कम मौजूद है न जब करें तो ये levorotatory ये तो dextrorotatory या L-glucose या D-glucose. There the carbohydrates dream type chicken the oligosaccharides. Oligosaccharides are the carbohydrate type C, the dehydrolysis cookie, the two number 10 or monosaccharides that are always foolish. Oligosaccharides that are less soluble in water, less sweet in taste. There indicates syllabus these examples the cane sugar. Cane sugar is the common name of sucrose. Sucrose the cane sugar sugar cane की मौजूदगी बलिया सारे plants के जो transport sugar ले अलग sucrose जगह जो plant के दा food चिकम ले दा in the form of sucrose transport की और बल तो दे पैदा सला जगह जो chemically unreactive ले बल दा sucrose चिकम ले दा जोशे ले दो यूनिट में ले alpha glucose में जोशे और the beta fructose में जोशे this is alpha glucose और the beta glucose. The alpha glucose carbon number 1, the beta glucose carbon number 2 star join share, a common stitching on the glycosidic bond group alpha 1 2 glycosidic linkage. Diagonal. Yeah, everyone you try to execute the sugar cane contains fructose, glucose, sucrose, and ribose. So the right answer is sucrose. We are doing example the oligosaccharides chicken mentioned share are the malt sugar. The malt sugar chicken they are the maltose common name. Maltose for germinating seeds की वजह या तो sprouting potato के वजह करेक्ट potato की या पास के bird कर रहा है जुदा रहे के लिए maltose वजह या starch लगे maltose तक conversion अगर maltose the दो alpha glucose unit में conversion है लेकिन दायो alpha glucose और बेदा alpha glucose और वही के चिकन glycosidic bond में the carbon number 1 और the carbon number 4 को मास की conversion है जो करेगा alpha 1,4 glycosidic linkage या साथ में the maltose चिकन में da chicken young seedling chicken nami the puri bachira kiji da agada growth or the development of the energy source. Drain example of oligosaccharide the milk sugar. Milk sugar is the common name of lactose or lactose chicken da from milk ki mojudgi the mammals, the مثال के तौर पर the goat milk ची वो रहे कि 3 to 4% lactose थी, the cow का milk ची कम 4 to 6% थी, और the human milk ची कम 5 to 8% lactose मौजूद थी. या साथे lactose ची कम दादा infants दबारा वालों माशुमान दबारा ची कम पे उसको वाला माशुमान लगी दबारा instant energy direct energy source थी. और lactose घोषणे में दा beta glucose करे और beta galactose करे. The beta glucose or the beta galactose. The beta glucose carbon number 1 or the beta galactose carbon number 4. अभी bonus के 1 वर्ष है अभी तो beta 1,4 glycosidic linkage. There are 3 types the carbohydrate are the polysaccharides. Polysaccharides the largest group of the carbohydrate. Complex group is the hydrolysis. Okay, number 10 में चेक हम this या monosaccharides are on this page. यदि हुसूसियत दारी से that taste is the other insoluble in water the. There the examples the types the बड़े type में चेक हमने ना homopolysaccharide, homopolysaccharide, other polysaccharide the ची other yolk इसमा monosaccharide unit में जोशी भी लेकिन मिसाल के तौर पर starch, glycogen, cellulose और glycine. Heteropolysaccharides, the other polysaccharides which are the different monomers unit not जोशी भी लेकिन मिसाल ले अगर pectin और peptidoglycan. Yeah, the example में starch. No starch can be the hundreds of alpha glucose unit और that data storage carbohydrate में plants के that the roots, stems, leaves of a cereal grain और potato tuber के मौजूद भी और कुछ रकासो अलूरा वाले potato काटेंगे और iodine solution जो drop के बाद चले ना आला कुछ रे black color ना drop ना बस आला black शो ना it's mean चिपके के starch मौजूद. Then the starch types की लेकिन amylose और amylopectin. Amylose that is starch thing. Chidiki that glucose units, the alpha glucose unit that is given to lesion to straight eventually the alpha 1,4 glycosidic linkage for the amylopectin that other starch type thing. Chidiki linear chain of the glucose unit, the alpha 1,4 glycosidic one for the or whatever the branch to one or other chicken that branch alpha 1,6 glycosidic linkage for the that branch structure is amylopectin that reward the difference. We have given example the polysaccharide they are glycogen the animal starch that come down the alpha glucose units the grocery hundreds of alpha glucose unit देख क्या था iodine test हो गया iodine solution रहा है और कोई sample के वाच है और अभी red color show करना it's means पर देख glycogen मौजूद. The glycogen structure can be just like amylopectin in the branch. Highly branched. The amylopectin is the structure is highly branched. Drink example the polysaccharide they cellulose. Yes, the most abundant carbohydrate in nature chicken they are the cellulose. Hundreds of glucose unit और particular glucose unit over the beta 1,4 glycosidic linkage was one attention. और याद साथे जो cellulose chicken they are the plant cell wall major constituents in components और the structure chicken they are amylose पहचान देते बिल्कुल straight structure है. तब वो cotton over है और paper over है that is cellulose pure form. Very much for listening.